Let's be real for a second. Have you ever wondered what actually separates that tiny handful of YouTube channels that just explode from the millions that feel like they're shouting into the void? Well, today we're pulling back the curtain on a pretty tough reality, why almost every single channel is basically set up to fail. And more importantly, what that successful 1% does differently. Okay, let's get into it.
So to really understand the challenge here, we got to start with the raw data. And I'm not going to lie, these numbers are, well, they're pretty staggering.
155 million. That is the total number of channels on YouTube right now. It's just a vast, massive ocean of content, and every single new creator is just another drop in that ocean. In fact, over 90% of those channels will never ever even get to 1,000 subscribers.
And if you think that's wild, check out the monetization numbers. It's even more stark. Only a tiny 6% of all those channels actually make any money from their videos. That means for every single channel that's monetized, there are more than 15 that make absolutely nothing. Zero.
And what about the big one? 1 million subscribers. You know, the dream for so many of us. While the number gets even smaller. Less than 0.05%. That is fewer than 1 in 1,000 channels that will ever hit that mark. But look, this isn't to scare you. It's to get real about what it takes. Because you have to remember that top 1%, they all started at zero, just like everybody else.
So, where does it all go wrong for the other 99%? It's usually not one big, catastrophic mistake. Nope, it's a very predictable path, kind of like a downward spiral that almost every new creator ends up on.
It all kicks off with totally unrealistic expectations. You know, the idea that you just upload a video and magically people will find it and watch it. Or that one viral hit is going to solve all your problems. And when that fantasy shatters against reality, creators fall right into the how-to video trap, just binge-watching advice on how to grow. And this leads to the final, crushing realization, the skill gap.
This quote just nails the danger of that how-to trap perfectly. See, when you watch video after video about how to get more views, it tricks your brain. It feels productive. It feels like you're learning the secret sauce. But if you don't actually go and apply what you're learning, you're just spinning your wheels.
And this is the absolute core of the problem. Knowing something isn't the same as being able to do it. You can know, intellectually, that you need a great thumbnail to get a high click-through rate. That's knowledge. But being able to sit down and actually design a thumbnail that's compelling and makes people click, that's a completely different thing. That's a skill. And the same goes for editing, for writing scripts, for being good on camera. Knowledge is passive. Skill is active.
Okay, so how do you dodge that spiral? How do you join the 1%? Well, it's not about finding some secret algorithm hack. I can tell you that. It starts with something much deeper, a fundamental shift in your entire mindset. First things first, you have to set realistic expectations. You just have to. Understand that for a long time, your views are going to be low, and your earnings, even once you're monetized, are going to be tiny until you're pulling in hundreds of thousands of views. But if you expect this from the beginning, then every little win, every new subscriber, every nice comment becomes a reason to keep going, not a disappointment.
Number 2, don't quit early. It's so easy to see a creator whose first video seems to go viral and think, wow, they got lucky. Overnight success. But that is survivorship bias. We only see the winners. Take the creator Saklan Khan. His first video on a new channel was a massive success. But what you don't see is that he'd already made over 500 videos on a different channel, spending years honing his skills.
And the third principle for your mindset, it's all about taking action. Before you click on yet another How to Grow on YouTube video, just ask yourself this one simple but really powerful question. Did you actually go and implement the advice from the last one you watched? Because even just a 1% improvement in each video you make, that is real, tangible progress. Okay, so with the right mindset in place, you can avoid all those common traps. The very next step is to channel that new mindset into a smart, effective strategy that's actually going to guide what you do.
A massive part of any good strategy is learning how to filter all the advice out there. You have to be super wary of anyone promising you instant results or some secret hack. The genuine, real advice is almost always about the hard, unsexy work, focusing on the fundamentals, building real skills, and actually providing value to an audience.
This brings us to one of the most powerful strategic ideas, not just on YouTube, but in pretty much any field. You have limited time and energy, right? So where should you concentrate all of that for the biggest possible impact?
It's the 80-20 rule, and it's a total game changer. The principle basically says that 80% of your results will come from just 20% of your efforts. And for a YouTube video, that critical 20% is the idea itself, the packaging, which means your title and your thumbnail, and the intro hook, those first 30 seconds that have to convince a viewer to stick around. If you master these things, you have mastered the biggest levers for growth. Period.
You know, another huge mistake new creators make is trying to be completely 100% unique right from day one. A much better strategy is to steal like an artist. Go analyze what's already working in your niche, find the common threads in their success. Then, and this is the key part, add your own unique selling point, your personality, your style, your unique perspective. That's how you make it your own.
Okay, we've covered mindset and we've covered strategy. Now let's bring it all home with the final principles that turn all that learning into actually doing and turn that doing into a real growing channel.
These last three are absolutely crucial. You have to define a niche so you know exactly who you're talking to. You have to stay consistent because it is the only way you're going to get better and the only way to keep the algorithm happy. And finally, you have to be brave enough to change your niche if you realize it's just too competitive or too small to ever let you grow.
And at the end of the day, it all comes down to this single idea. The people who make it, the ones who succeed, they aren't the ones just chasing the title of YouTuber. They're the ones who genuinely love the process of making videos. They focus on the craft, on getting better each time, and the success just follows. So, let me leave you with this. What's one small skill you can focus on improving in your very next video?